Hey guys! So March went by so fast, but I read quite a few books in March. Yes, they were kind of small books, but they count, right? So today I'm here to do my March wrap-up and April TBR. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. The first book I read this month was Need by Carrie Jones. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it's a series of 4 books, and I really enjoyed it, and I do plan on reading the other books in the series. So this book is about a girl named Zara, and it's kind of, there's werewolves and pixies, so it's not really like vampires, which I guess is a good twist to have some other thing fighting werewolves, I guess. So she's in this new school, I guess. Yeah, I think so. This was the first book I read, so it's not very still fresh in my memory. But it was really good, and it wasn't like some sappy story or like Twilight where it's been done 100 times before. I really enjoyed this book. The second book that I read this month was Professor Gargoyle by Charles Gilman, which is the first book in the Lovecraft Middle School series. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I received this for review, and if I haven't posted a review on this yet, I'm going to, but I did really enjoy this. There's pictures in it, and it is middle grade, so it's got like bigger font and stuff, but the pictures were really interesting, and it really added to the story. And it is about a guy named Robert who goes to a new middle school because, yeah, he's, I guess, upgrading from primary school. I don't know what the term for that is, but he goes to this school and he discovers that some very strange things are happening, in case you couldn't tell by the cover. So yeah, it was really good, and I definitely recommend you guys check this book out. Then I read another ebook, because I read Need as an ebook, so I read Gone by Michael Grant. I give this book 3 out of 5 stars because I thought there was so much hype around it, but I guess I just couldn't get into it as much, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked to. But I might give the other books in the series a shot. I'm not sure. It just took me so long to get through Gone, but I heard the other ones in the series are better. So if you don't know what Gone is about, it is about, I guess, a dystopian kind of world where everybody over the age of 15 kind of disappears, like poof. And so the kids kind of have to figure out what's going on and learn to survive for themselves, and it's kind of survival of the fittest. And it's kind of interesting, but kind of not. But kind of, because then magical powers kind of start happening, and yeah. But 3 out of 5 stars, and I might read the other books in the series. So then I wanted to go back to something light and fun because Gone is a big book. So I read The Slither Sisters by Charles Gilman, which is the second book in the Lovecraft Middle School series, and I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was so much better than the first one because the first one was more character development and this one was more plot, I guess. So it was very good. There were things I expected to happen and things I didn't expect to happen, but you will get all of that in my full review, which I will post soon. So then I read The Thorn and the Blossom by Theodora Goss, and I don't have it with me because I lent it to my friend because I loved it so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I also received this book for review, and I have a review posted of this. Yeah. So yeah, it's really good, and I wish I could show you, but you'll have to watch my review of it. But it's a 2-sided love story in the way that the book is. It has no spine. So just go check out my review, because it's much cooler to look at than just to hear me describe it. So then I went back to middle grade, and I read All the Wrong Questions, Who Could That Be at This Hour by Lemony Snicket. I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It was a quick read, for sure, because it's middle grade, obviously. But I guess I expected it to be better. Some of the parts were like, that doesn't really make sense. They're jumping to conclusions. That's kind of draggy. Why are they talking about this? That's kind of weird. So I guess I'm more into the young adult portion in my brain and not so the middle grade. But I like middle grade books. It's fun to have a nice, quick, easy read every once in a while, right? So 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's a series, but I don't think I'll be reading the other ones. So then, because I have an astounding collection of graphic novels, I started reading the Scott Pilgrim books. So I read volume 1 and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, and I can tell you briefly what this one's about. It is, like I said, graphic novel-y, which was the first graphic novel I've ever read in my life, or even a comic book or anything like that. So this is about a guy named Scott, and I thought he was like a teenager, but he's actually like 23, and he meets this girl, Ramona, and if you've seen the movie then you know he has to like fight all her evil ex-boyfriends in order to date her. So it's kind of weird, kind of funny, but good, I guess. 3 out of 5 stars. And then I wanted to just keep the ball rolling, so I read the second one, and I also gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I can't really tell you so much what this one's about if you haven't read the first one, but this one was like, nah. But then they started to get better, so I read the third one, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I also read the fourth one, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. So I don't know, I think there's a 5th and a 6th, so I might be reading those, just because these ones were better than the other ones, but I'm not in a rush. So then a book I've been wanting to read, and I said I was going to read this month. I think this was one of the only books I said I was going to read this month that I actually did, which was weird. But I read 10 by Gretchen McNeil, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because I do have a review on it on my channel. So this book is about 10 teens that go to a party on an island and they start dying. So one of them's the killer, but they have to figure out who, and it's very creepy. So, but it was so good. So go check out my review on it if you're interested. Yeah. Then I read another book that I got for review, which was Rage Against the Dying by Becky Masterman. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I do have a review of it on my channel. I'm getting better at doing reviews, yeah, which is good. So I did receive this from Penguin, which I really, really appreciated because I really did enjoy it. So it's an audiobook too. So this book is about an ex-FBI agent who would hunt sexual predators, but she retired, leaving one of her cases unsolved. So she's enjoying retirement with her new husband, but all of a sudden one of the people she used to work with comes up to her and says, "We think we know who did it." So she starts getting back involved in the case without actually being involved in the case, but they think it's a false plea, so they have to start digging into it and getting more evidence and stuff, and it's really interesting because there's like 2 cases going on at the same time. Anyway, I have a full review on it, so go check it out. I don't know why I'm pointing down. I don't know if I'm going to link it or not, but go check it out. Then, because I'm having like a 4 out of 5 star, 3 out of 5 star month, I read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald for my classic choice of the month. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I have reread it. I read it last year when I was in grade 11 for English class, so I wanted to read it on my own, and it only took me so long to read this because I left it at school for like 3 days. Otherwise I could have read it in like one sitting because it's short. But this is, like I said, a classic, and it's about a guy named Nick. Yeah, I think the main character's name is Nick. And his name is Gatsby, Jay Gatsby, and he is known to throw extravagant parties, but nobody really knows his story. So Nick starts to get to know him and is spending time with him and uncovers some things about him, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this book, even though it's very short, but it's very like heavy and it's so good, so I definitely recommend you check this out if you want to read a classic. Then I finally read Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. 5 out of 5 stars. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm doing a review on this one, but I might. Many of my friends have read it, like Victoria, Alyssa, Geraldine, so I had to read it. So I finally read it, and 5 out of 5 stars, and I loved it. I love Travis, and Walking Disaster comes out soon. I'm so excited. I couldn't get enough of this book. I took it everywhere with me just because I couldn't stop reading it. I don't know how much to say if you haven't heard of it. It's about a girl named Abby who is, I guess, a college university student, and she meets a guy named Travis who is her best friend's boyfriend's cousin / roommate. So then Travis is like a fighter, but not like professionally, like he just does it like in basements of the schools to like win money and stuff, but he's very good at it. He's like the best. and he's like trying to flirt with her, but she's like not interested because she's like the good girl, he's like the bad boy, so she's like, you know, back off. But they make a bet, and the bet is if he wins, she has to stay with him for a month in his apartment. So it's very interesting to see where their relationship, not so relationship goes. There's many ups and downs. It's very roller coastery, but you feel for them and you're like, ah. So it's so good. I'm not really a chick like kind of girl, but I thought this was so good, and I can't wait for April 6th. Then I wanted another short book, so I read Memoir of a Milk Carton Kid by Tanya Nicole Cash and Lawrence Fisher. This is a true story. Obviously it's a memoir, because if you saw my haul, I watched her on Dr. Phil, and I thought her story was like so powerful, I guess. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I won't be doing a review on it because I find it hard to review and rate books that are based on true events, especially that this is a memoir. So I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I based it only on the writing style, not the story itself. Just to put that out there. Tanya, when she was 14, was, I guess, abducted by a pedophile that she had come close with and didn't expect this from him. And she was held captive for 10 years. And reading this, you learn about all the things that happened while she was gone. You learn that people weren't really looking for her. And it's just so sad. So I feel for her. My heart is heavy for her. I'm glad she's okay, and because obviously she got out to write this, but it sucks that these things happen. So, and one of the lines in this book from the guy Tom that took her was, "Nobody ever finds a milk carton kid," because she was on milk cartons. And there's like pictures, so that's her up there, and that's the guy that took her. So I don't know if I recommend this or not. It's a very heavy story, so you just have to know what you're going into before you read it. Finally, we get on to the last 5 books that I read this month. They were graphic novels, and I didn't plan on reading them, but I wanted to read them just to get them over with. Not really over with, I just wanted to see what all the hype is about, I guess. And I have a love-hate relationship with these books, as you'll see by my ratings. So, I read Walking Dead. I read the first book, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars to. These are by, I don't know where the authors' names are. It has them on the side: Kirkman, Moore, Adlard, and Rathburn. Sorry, I don't know your full names. But if you don't know what The Walking Dead is about because you've been under a rock for who knows how long, it's basically like zombie apocalypse and people have to survive. Then I read book 2 of The Walking Dead, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And I can't go into too much detail about the rest of these series are about in case you haven't read the first one. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah. So I read book 2, 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read book 3, which brought me down to 3 out of 5 stars. But the last 2 made up for it because I gave book 4 and book 5 both 4 out of 5 stars. So the series is okay. I don't know if I will be reading the other books, or I guess they're like comic books, so these are like the bind-ups of them, I guess. And I don't know if I'll be reading the other ones, but we'll see. So those were all 20 books that I read in March. I'm not planning on reading that many for April, because in March I did have March break, so I had a week off from school, and in April I don't. So I don't have so many, but for April I want to do, I guess, strictly standalones, because I have so many standalones and I've been reading so many series that I just want to read some good standalones. So let's get into the ones that I picked. The first book that I'm currently reading, or I guess just started, is one that I have to read for school, and I mentioned it in my Friday reads. So that's Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I don't know much about what this book is about, but I have to do it for my ISU for English class. So yeah, I guess it's classic. I've heard so many good things about it, but the font is so small and it's like filled from page to page. So hopefully I can get through this. A lot of people say it's a one-day read, but I'll have to see for myself. Then people are going to say this isn't a standalone, but it is, because it has companion novels, and I have started reading it. So I'm reading Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I'm not very far into it at all, but I think it's cute so far. It's about a girl that gets sent to a boarding school in Paris because her parents think it'd be good to learn abroad, and I guess she meets a boy. I don't know. that's as far as I've got, is that Cheese and Pears. The rest of these I can't say I know much about, like, at all, but they've been sitting on my shelf for a while and I want to read them. So I'm going to be reading Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. Don't know what this one's about. So if you know what any of these books are about that I don't know what they're about, please let me know in the comments, because I would really like to know, I guess. Spoiler free, of course. It's a little. A lot of these are little, so I'm hoping to get through all of them. Then I also want to read It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. I know a little bit about this one. I know it's about a guy in suicide and depression, and he goes in a mental hospital, and there's some stuff going on. That's about all I know. The form's big. It's a thick book, but hopefully I can fly through it. Then I want to read The Duff by Cody Keplinger, which is the designated ugly fat friend. Yeah. So I heard this is like a one-day read too. Just quick and easy. I don't know much about what it's about except... So, yeah. Hopefully it's good. I've heard good things. Then I want to read The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, because I guess I just want to read it and know the full story. Then I want to read Blood Secrets by Rob Englert with Kathy Passero, because this is like CSI kind of detective-y stuff, and it's little again. So I think this will be very interesting to learn how they solve cases and stuff, especially seeing as how I just read Rage Against the Dying, which kind of made me want to read this. So I think it'd be nice and interesting. Then, because, you know, after 10, I think I might want something scary, I'm going to read Carrie by Stephen King, because it's about the smallest Stephen King book I own. And I've heard it's very, very creepy, so I'm very, very excited. Then I want to read Go Ask Alice by an anonymous author. I haven't hauled this yet, but I'll be hauling it tomorrow. I don't know what this is about, but it's little, and it's written in like diary entries, so I think this will be like a quick one-day read. So I'm excited. And then finally, one that I just put my bookmark in because I'm kind of liking this graphic novel thing. I'm going to be reading The Complete Mouse by Art Spiegelman, which is the Holocaust in retelling of a mouse's perspective, which I think will be interesting, reading this and reading The Diary of Anne Frank. So yeah. So that was my wrap up and my TBR. I'd love to know what you're reading this month. If you're reading any of the same books, that'd be so cool. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with my book haul. Bye.